All problem segment tonight. As I stated last week, I simply cannot believe anybody in the federal government didn't warn the folks about the economic chaos. As we've documented, leaders of both parties knew about it for a while, but there was little public exposition. John Kerry, who's been a senator for 23 years, joins us now from Boston. So I'm blaming both parties for this, Senator, and, you know, you're involved too. You're not on the banking committee, but Chris Dodd, a close friend of yours, is. I just don't know why we weren't warned about this, very explicitly warned. What do you think?
Well, we only have been warned in the last weeks, but many of us have been warning about these problems, Bill. And if you go back and look at the record, you'll see it very clearly. In 2004, as a presidential candidate, I personally talked about how we needed to have stronger oversight on Fannie and Freddie, about the housing market, about deregulation and the excessive deregulation. In 1994, Congress passed a law allowing for us to crack down on predatory lending. Frankly, that was blocked. From the year 2000 forward, I have supported legislation that would have cracked down on that lending.
But this is what I don't understand.
But we haven't been able to move it.
This is what I don't understand. In 2005, in the Banking Committee, Senator Dodd and all the Democrats on the Banking Committee blocked regulatory action against Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. They blocked it.
Well, what they were looking for,
Yeah.
What they were looking for was a specific balance in that. Look, the problem is, let's talk about the big picture, Bill, because it's really what's important here. And in that big picture, everybody understands that Washington's been broken for the last years. But, Bill, please, I know you're a man who embraces the truth and you tell the truth. Who's run the Congress for the last 7 years, 8 years?
But it's everybody's fault.
You know,
it's everybody's fault.
No, wait a minute. No, it's. If you don't mind, Bill, I'm going to disagree with you, and I'm going to tell you why I disagree with you.
That's why we have you here.
Because when you're in the minority, you don't have the power to call a hearing. You don't have the power to decide who the witnesses will be.
But, Senator, the last 2 years you've been in the majority. Barney Frank has been the head of the House
Banking. And we have
had
those hearings.
Yeah, but you didn't do anything. You didn't warn anybody. No, look, nobody stepped up. Nobody stepped up.
Just stop. The Republicans refused to pass $15 billion to help with the mortgage crisis.
The Democrats control the Senate. You know, look, you vote on it. Vote on it. You got a Democratic majority. You would have passed it.
We did vote. We did vote, Bill. And you know what happened? It takes 60 votes. This is, unfortunately, the bias of you and a lot of other people who don't own up to the truth. It takes 60 votes to pass anything out of the United States Senate, and the Republicans have 49 senators, and they muster more than the 41 senators to stop it, so you have gridlock in the United States Senate, and nothing passes. John McCain came to Washington. I was on Fox yesterday with Lindsey Graham, and Lindsey Graham bragged to Chris Wallace that what John McCain had accomplished was at least getting the House Republicans to be on the package. Well, no, he didn't. The House Republicans took a Dixie today, and just because their feelings may have been hurt because of something someone said,
that's
they
Pelosi.
hurt the country.
Look, but look, put yourself in their position.
Country.
First of all, you had 93 Democrats voting against it.
They should have done. I am in their position.
If you could have rallied,
United States Senate,
if Pelosi could have rallied her people, if Pelosi could have rallied her people,
she did rally.
No, you got 93 Democrats 60%. Voted against it. All you needed was 10 more votes, and it was done. But wait, put yourself. Senator.
Just a minute. The deal was that it would be 50-50. Who are we rescuing? We're rescuing George Bush. We're rescuing
the folks. We're trying to rescue the folks.
And the reason we're rescuing them is because of the unbelievable greed that has been unleashed by an irresponsible administration that never did the regulating necessary. And it is sensible that some of the Republicans step up to be part of that rescue. And they took a Dixie. They were hoping that the Democrats would bail out this administration all by themselves, and they could go back and tell people who don't like this, oh, I voted against it.
Senator, you're overlooking that 93 Democratic congresspeople voted against it. If Pelosi had rallied, you would have had the bill. I want the bill. I support the bill. But look, you're also overlooking that Pelosi, before the vote, gets out and makes it a polemic. When that was ridiculous.
Bill,
and if it had been the other way, you would have said
that's
absurd.
Ridiculous. Bill, of course, I won't disagree whether or not there were partisan comments made.
What she did. I'll give you the last word.
Bill, you bet. Let me tell you something. She summoned a supermajority 60% plus voted for this. The Republicans had a super majority, almost veto-proof. 66% voted against it today. And just because their feelings were hurt by something that Nancy Pelosi said is not an excuse to screw the guy on Main Street in his savings account, to screw small businesses, to screw companies across the country. It was an act of cowardice and selfishness.
All right. Do you think it's going to get done later on this week when you get the politics out?
Yes.
You do think so?
Yes, it will get done. It has to get done because we have to pull this country back. We've got to put it back on an economic footing.
But you've got to pull the country back together. You can't be dividing the country like Nancy Pelosi did.
Wouldn't it have been nice?
It would have been nice if you all got together and put politics aside for 10 minutes, Senator. Just 10 minutes so we can get this thing fixed.
I'm not in the House. Bill, I'm not in the House.
No, but you're a leader. You're a leader.
And you ask Secretary Paulson and ask Ben Bernanke what I said in our caucus about the need to get this done and get it done soon. I'm in favor of this.
But next time,
I would have voted yesterday.
Next time, come here. And we'll make it a public deal, because that's what the folks need.
All right.
Public deal.
I understand.
Senator, always good to see you, man.
You need to explain a little more to Americans how this affects everybody. This is not a Wall Street bailout.
We're on it.
This is a
Absolutely
rescue
on
of
it.
Main Street.
Okay.